This video is going to talk about equivalent negative fractions. So if we look here at which fraction on the number line is greater, 7/10 or 4/10, we can see that we are indeed recording. We can see that 7/10 is here, 4/10 is here. And because we have 0 here, and the numbers get bigger as we go along, the numbers are getting bigger because we're going from 0 to 1, that means that 7/10 is greater. When we look at this number line, we can see that they're both comparing 0 to 1, and we want to know if 3/10 is bigger than 2/5. And we can see that 2/5 is further along the number line. We can also see the equivalent fractions here. 1/5 2/10, 2/5 4/10, 3/5 6/10, 4/5 8/10. We can see that 2/5 is bigger because it's further along the bigger end of the number line. When we ask for 4/10 or 2/5, we can see that this is where we start talking about those equivalent fractions. 4/10 and 2/5, they are both the same size because 4/10 divided by 2/2 makes 2/5. It's literally the same thing. Equivalent fractions are fractions that are at the same point on the number line. So we've got the 1/5 and the 2/10, the 2/5 and the 4/10, the 3/5 and the 6/10, and the 4/5 and the 8/10. We could always call this 5/5, which is the same thing as 1, and 0/5, which is the same thing as 0. So, do you think that opposites of two equivalent fractions will be equivalent? Let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, let's find the equivalent fractions here. The equivalent fraction is 1/2 and 2/4. Let's take a look at where the whole numbers are. Where's the opposite of 1? Well, the opposite of 1 is -1. And I can see that this should not be -1. This should be -1. Because they have to be the same distance away on the number line. So they have to be that same distance. This in the middle would be -1/2. So when I put -1 over here, I can see that here it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to get -1. Which means that on the other side of 0, we have 1/4 and -1/4. 2/4 and -2/4, 3/4 and -3/4. And we can see that equivalent fractions, the opposite of both equivalent fractions, are still equivalent. So, if I say that 2/3 is the same thing as 4/6, that means that -2/3, you don't even have to do the math. We know that 2/3 equals 4/6. So -2/3 is the same as -4/6. 3/5 equals 9/15. So -3/5 equals -9/15. We're literally just adding in the negative sign. That's it. 2/5 equals 4/10. So -2/5 equals -4/10. 5/8 equals 15/24, so -5/8 equals -15/24. Kids, all we're doing is adding a negative sign. We're not really doing much else beyond that. So let's go ahead and fill in this equivalent fraction. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. 2/3 equals 8/12. Wow, check that out. Let's go over here. 2/5 equals something over 15. Well, how do we go from 5 to 15? Because we have to multiply by the same thing on the top and the bottom. I know that 5 times 3 is 15, so 2 times 3 is 6. So 2/5 equals 6/15. So -2/5 equals -6/15. Then I go over here. 3/4 equals something over 20. Well, to go from 4 to 20, I multiply by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. 3 times 5 is 15. 3/4 equals 15 over 20. which means that negative 3/4 equals negative 15 over 20. 4 over 7 equals what over 14? Well, I know that 7 times 2 is 14, so 4 times 2 is going to be 8. 4/7 equals 8/14, which means that negative 4/7 equals negative 8/14. 5/8 equals something over 32. How do we go from 8 to 32? Well, we're going to multiply by 4. So when we multiply 5 times 4, it becomes 20 over 32. 5/8 equals 20 32nds. Negative 5/8 equals negative 20 32nds. You can go ahead and try these bonuses. 4 times 7 is 28, so 5 times 7 is 35. So we're just going to put 35 there. 4/5 equals 28 over 35. Negative 4/5 equals negative 28 over 35. And then over here, to go from 9 to 9 million, you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let you give these a shot on your own, and when you come back, we'll talk about it. Welcome back. So 3 over 4, we multiply 4 times 4 to get 16. 3 times 4 is 12, which means that for the negative 3/4, it would be negative 12 over 16. 2/5 equals something over 30. 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 6 is 12. So negative 2/5 equals negative 12 over 30. 5/6. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 5 is 25. So negative 5/6 equals negative 25 over 30. It means the same thing. 7/8 equals something over 40. 8 times 5 is 40. 7 times 5 is 35. So negative 7/8 equals negative 35 over 40. So what they want us to do now is find the improper fractions that are equivalent to the positive and negative mixed numbers. So if I have 5.5, I need to figure out what's the improper fraction. Well, I know that I have 5 wholes, and each of those wholes have 2. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 1 is going to be 11 over 2. Negative 5.5 would just be negative 11 over 2. 4 2/3, I would go ahead and multiply 4 times 3, and I would get 12, plus 2 would be 14 over 3. So negative 4 2/3 would be negative 14 over 3. Can a positive fraction be equivalent to a negative fraction? No positive fraction can be equivalent to a negative fraction just on its own. There's a thing called absolute value, but that's not what we're talking about right here. Positive and negative fractions are automatically on 2 different ends of the number line. They cannot be equivalent. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this video. Have a wonderful day.